Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Media News. The headlines. VEEP says effective communication is key to national development. MACDONALD CHIPENZI calls for an extension of voter registration exercise. Details coming through after this commercial. Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact +260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Msika, allowing your business to grow. And now the media news in detail. GEAR's initiative is calling for the extension of voter registration exercise up to March 2021 and the pushing of the voter register certification to July 2021. Organization Executive Director MACDONALD CHIPENZI says this will allow all eligible voters to register and give more time to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to certify their registers. Meanwhile, Mr. CHIPENZI says there is need to enhance transparency, efficiency and accountability in the electoral process, which he says can only be done through stakeholders' access to relevant information in the electoral process. Mr. CHIPENZI was speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka on Tuesday.
With only about 1.1 million registered in 2 weeks, and with the onset of the rain season and its attendant effect, negative effect, coupled with already existing challenges in the registration process, GEARS calls for the extension of voter registration exercise up to March 2021. If we are to meet this target of 9 million, let's extend up to March 2021. And we need to push forward the voters register certification from May to July 2021. So that we give room for verification and other things. In 2016, the voter certification was on 31st July. 11 days to the election day. So why should we certify the register 3 months before the election? So we are saying let's push the certification to July and not May. And this also goes with the cutoff point, the cutoff date for registration. We are saying the cutoff date should not be 9 May 2021. No. Because those who are going to be 18 years, the young ones who will be 18 years from 10th May to 12th August, will be differentialized. In other countries and in other jurisdictions, the cutoff point is on the election day. Those who are turning 18 years on the election day should all be captured by the what? By the registration officers.
In other news, Vice President Inongawina says sound communication in the digital changing world plays a key role in achieving national development. The Vice President said this during the launch of the first ever World Communication Forum Association Africa held in Zambia. Mrs. Wina says the forum, which is being held under the theme Communication in the Changing World, Challenges and Chances, is important as it summarizes the status quo and generates specific expectations. Meanwhile, Information and Broadcasting Minister Dora Celia says the conference has attracted communicators from various sectors who will effectively communicate information on challenges being faced globally, such as pandemics.
Is evolving, and so is our ways of communicating. In the advance of the corona pandemic that has changed our ways of life and the coming of digitalization, how then can we ensure that effective communication is maintained? Zambia is today hosting its first ever World Communication Forum that has attracted delegates from around the region as well as ministers from neighboring Zimbabwe and Botswana. And Zambia's Vice President Inonge Wina has officiated at the event and has emphasized the role that effective communication plays in the digital changing times.
Glad that Zambia is hosting a gathering of communication experts, policymakers, representatives of the private sector, and the academia. I'm happy because you are doing so at a time when the whole world has turned its attention to communication as governments grapple with the COVID-19 challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the conference, Communication in a Changing World, Challenges and Chances, is extremely profound. It immediately summarizes the status quo and generates specific expectations from the conference. Without doubt, to a large extent, change in the world is being driven by technology and the power of the internet, which I wish to refer to as digital communication.
And Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services Dora Sili has added a voice on the importance of communication.
This room is full of young professional communicators. They are coming from the whole spectrum of communication, whether as marketers, as advertisers, as journalists, as brand managers, as filmmakers, as script writers, the whole spectrum of communication. And we believe, Your Honor, that this is the first step in trying to address the challenges of communication in a changing world. We are all aware of the new normal in terms of the COVID and how do businesses, how do families, how do nations survive these challenges. We also believe that there are opportunities in this new normal because some businesses, some families and nations will always want to go around the challenges and find the opportunities.
And Zimbabwe's Information Minister had this to say.
What worked yesterday could not necessarily produce the same results today. So the way we greeted, the way we interacted and communicated had to change. Digital communication was our ready-made solution. And in Africa, we have the demographics for it.
Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo says government has positive gain in the agriculture sector in Zambia despite the challenges that have affected the sector, such as the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change. Speaking when he signed a memorandum of understanding on behalf of government with Green Revolution in Africa Agra, Mr. Katambo says Zambia has in recent past been faced with agriculture challenges such as invention of armyworms and recently the red locust, which threatened food security in affected areas. The minister says the MOU, which is aimed at transforming the country's agriculture sector by responding to the climate changes, is not the first partnership that Zambia has with AGRA. He says AGRA has helped Zambia through the Zambia Research Institution, ZARI, and the Seed Bank. Meanwhile, AGRA President Dr. Agnes Kalibata says her institution is committed to building a strong Africa by ensuring that Africa is food secure, among other things.
I am glad that last year, 2019, you personally responded to our request and admitted our country as a member to your organization. Today, I am pleased to witness the consolidation of our partnership through the Memorandum of Understanding we are about to sign today. Your Excellency, let me hasten to mention that even before the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding, AGRA has been supporting the agriculture sector in Zambia in a number of areas. For instance, AGRA has supported research development at the Zambia Agriculture Research Institute and the seed development with the Zambia Seed Control and Certification Institute. And to this end, we sincerely commend you, Your Excellency. Allow me also to briefly share with you our country's socio-economic aspirations. Zambia has placed agriculture as a strategic sector for economic growth and poverty reduction. Government intends to attain its objectives of job creation, economic growth, and human development through agriculture. To achieve this, government is promoting value addition, irrigation development, and export of agricultural produce. Agriculture diversification, private sector participation, and building resilience to climate change, especially among our small-scale farmers. These measures are aimed at enhancing production and productivity within the agriculture sector. Your Excellency, these measures have already started bearing. During the last agricultural season, the country recorded a bumper harvest. However, climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic, as you earlier alluded to, had eroded the gains that the country has made. Climate change has brought about increased pest and disease outbreaks, which have caused damage to most crops.
In other news, an investigative officer from the Anti-Corruption Commission has testified before the Lusaka Magistrate Court that an execution of the arrest was made towards former Community Development Minister Emery Kabanshi after his course of investigation concluded that she committed the alleged offense she has been accused of. Testifying before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale, the arresting officer in this case, where Kabanshi has been accused of corruption practices, told court that during the course of investigation, evidence found showed that the accused had influenced the engagement of Zambia Postal Service Corporation, being the agent provider for the Social Cash Transfer Fund to the beneficiaries under the Ministry of Community Development.
The former Community Development Minister, Emery Kabanshi, accused of corrupt practices during the time she was minister, continues to appear before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court to answer the alleged allegations. With more than 10 witnesses who have already testified against her, the prosecution team presented an investigative officer in the case. Victor Mtantawa, an investigative officer from the Anti-Corruption Commission, in his testimony told court that SEC received a report on the 20th of September 2018 of alleged corrupt practices and mismanagement of the Social Cash Transfer Program, testifying in a matter in which the former community minister is accused of willful failure to comply with the law and applicable procedure or guidelines relating to the procurement involving the Social Cash Transfer Program. The witness told court that the Ministry of Community Development signed a contract with Zampost which indicated that Zampost was going to act as an agent for the ministry in paying the Social Cash Transfer. However, this was not done as many beneficiaries were not receiving their funds. He further testified that having probable and justifiable cause to believe that a contract between Zampost and the ministry was duly terminated by the ministry, Kabanshi, however, failed to comply with procedures by directing the rescission of the termination of the contract between Zambia Postal Service Corporation and the Ministry of Community Development, an act prejudicial to the interests of the government of Zambia and the beneficiaries under the said program. The witness testified that he effected an arrest on Kabanshi after all evidence linked her to the offense of willful failure to follow procedure contrary to Section 34(2)(b) of the Anti-Corruption Act. The former minister first came into the spotlight of government's corruption wings after an audit in August 2018 revealed that Zampost diverted funds meant for the donor-funded Social Cash Transfer Program. The audit revealed that the funds were diverted without authority or consent from cooperating partners, and also that Social Cash Transfer Program was invaded by bogus beneficiaries in collusion with some junior civil servant. Kabanshi was later fired by President Edgar Lungu. She is expected to make her next appearance on the 3rd of December 2020. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. VEEP says effective communication is key to national development. MACDONALD CHIPENZI calls for an extension of voter registration exercise. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Thank you for joining me. Good afternoon.